Howdy folks, and welcome back to Horizon Zero Dawn with the mighty Jingles. Now, in the last episode, people were saying, oh Jingles, you missed a bit. And I can appreciate why people were saying that, but I didn't actually miss the part that they were talking about. I simply didn't show it because the video was already approaching 40 minutes and I need to think about which bits I needed to cut out that weren't strictly relevant to the plot. This is the part that everybody's talking about. At the top of the tower, right above Ted's office, there's this climbing puzzle. Now when you do finally make it to the top, there are some goodies up here.
Another power cell. This should help me get to that ancient armor.
Earlier on in the game, I came across a ruin that contained a bunker, and in that bunker there was a sealed armory door, on the other side of which was what appeared to be some kind of powered stealth armor. The only problem was that I couldn't actually get to it because it was sealed on the other side of an armory door, and the armory door was unpowered. In order to restore power to the door and actually get into the armory, I was going to need to find 3 power cells, and that was the location of one of them. This wasn't the first time I've had problems actually getting access to this bunker. In fact, I'll show you the first time I returned to the bunker, after initially discovering it and being unable to get past this door, because I needed a bunch of fuses. I found the required fuses, returned to the bunker, fully expecting to be leaving with a brand new set of extremely sexy looking powered armour. So at the moment I've got the fuses that I needed the first time I came here to restore power to the bunker door. The complex itself isn't that big, it's basically just an armoury. And I got very excited when I first found it, and even more excited when I saw what was on the other side of the armoured glass. Right up ahead. There it is. That's the super power armour. And I want it so bad. But now I have the final fuse that I need to actually be able to restore power to the door there. And here it is. Let's go ahead and repair that.
It's true. It's some kind of code. Maybe there's a clue nearby. I think the old ones use numbers like this to indicate time.
And yeah, it's a fairly straightforward combination. You have to arrange the various different locks to correspond to the times on a clock face that are indicated on the code panel. So for example, the first one said 1200 and it's already at 1200, so I don't need to mess around with this one. The second one is 1500 or 3 o'clock. The third one 1800 or 6 o'clock, and so on and so on.
Good. Now to check the door. Those clamps have the armor locked in place.
Wait,
Maybe there's
what?
a way to power up the mechanism, release the clamps.
Ah, for God's sake. Yeah. Now I need power cells. One of which was on top of Ted Pharaoh's tower. So this is the Ultra Weave armor. Okay, lots of numbers. Alright, lots of numbers, but the numbers seem to indicate that if I ever manage to get my hands on this armor, it's going to offer ballistic resistance, energy resistance, and appears to have some kind of built-in shield system. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to get my hands on it until I recover some power cells to release the locking clamps. This bit was actually recorded just before I headed to Maker's End to climb to the top of Ted Pharaoh's tower and find out just exactly what it was that led
to install these power
to the
cells.
almost complete
That should do
destruction
it.
of all life as we know it 1,000 years ago. So you can imagine how happy I was after finally finding all of the fuses that I needed to get access to the bunker in the first place and seeing the power armor right there in front of me. I mean, I could literally reach out and touch it. But now I need to find a bunch of power cells in order to actually release the armor and be able to use it. And there it is again. So very, very nice. So I have absolutely no doubt that we're going to be back here at some point in the future. But for now, I need to head to a location known as the Grave Hoard. although I have been reliably informed by none other than star of stage, screen and dockyard canteen, Lance Reddick himself, that around about 1,000 years ago, give or take, it went by the name of US Robotics Command. And so, in the due course of time, that's exactly where we find ourselves. And I don't know about you, but judging by that wrecked... Is that a Titan class machine?
The Grave Horde. In the shadow of a metal devil. Great.
Yeah, that is a big bugger. Wow. So there was clearly some kind of last stand fort here about 1,000 years ago. And it's not immediately obvious which side lost. Is that a railgun turret? That kind of looks like a railgun turret. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to US Robotics Command, now known as the Grave Horde. I'm not too sure about that name. Grave Horde? Oh, there are robots here. Corrupted ones, which means there are going to be Eclipse cultists here as well. And I'm not entirely happy with the idea of the people who are going around the world trying to resurrect the war machines being in the same place as a dead Titan class war machine. And that's not all. I'm picking up comms logs. Corporal Lana Acosta, there are bodies here. Okay, those are the cultists, or at least some of them. But we also seem to have the bodies of the American soldiers who died defending this place. See the hologram over there, it says Operation Enduring Victory. Yeah. Seems a little optimistic. Considering they almost certainly lost. I don't know what Operation Enduring Victory was, but I'm sure if we poke around in this place, we're going to find out. Let's take out this watcher. Now, kind of screwed up the silent strike, but oh, what a surprise, Jingles said absolutely nobody ever. But whatever, it's down. Let's take its stuff. We'll have a poke around in here. There's a cultist. Actually, there are two cultists. I can take one of them out and stealth.
Alright, new plan.
Yep. I suspect it's given the game away for his friend, though. He won't go down easily, will he?
That does
Maybe if I was slightly less
take a look
crap.
around the room.
Okay.
Operation Enduring Victory. What did that mean? Whatever it was, doesn't seem to have turned out very well.
Well, I ain't no expert on psychological ops, but I suspect the name was chosen specifically with the intention of instilling a false sense of confidence in the poor suckers who were required to actually go out into battle and fight the machines. Some of whom are still here. Although they're not quite as mobile as they once were. Corporal Lana Acosta, status, killed in action. You don't say. What's this? Sergeant Goliath and his comms log. Alright, let's see what the good sergeant had to say for himself.
Say it again, Lieutenant.
I got through. Titan is through the defenses. Still on approach. A live one. And he's pissed.
We've got no mobility in here. It'll punch right through us.
We hold the hedge at all costs. Then push back out.
The battle. Frozen in ice and time.
Here's another one. Sergeant 1 dies.
Silence, you getting this?
What is it?
All these soldiers. They died here.
People die all the time. I'll keep going and find something interesting.
Seems a little harsh, but you can't really argue with his practicality. Pushing on, trying to find something useful. because we still don't actually know what Project Zero Dawn was.
Must have been where the soldiers slept. Like the lodge in Mother's Heart, I guess. What was this place?
Grave Horde Aloy, formerly known as US Robotics Command. We covered this in the last episode. Come on, do try to keep up. Ooh, another audio log.
Recalls, I've been instructed to remind you of Article 115 of base policy regarding unauthorized use of processor cycles. Specifically 115C. Any holographic simulation not directly related to operational training or efficiency. Consider yourself reminded and enjoy your gaming.
Silence, you getting this?
What is it?
All these soldiers. They died here.
People die all the time. I'll keep going and find something interesting.
Thanks for the mails, you. Time goes fast on active duty. 4 months with the wrecking recalls. I don't know, 20 drops. In and out of the West Coast, fighting with these civilian enlistees, scrappy guys and gals. Their training is basically, here's a DEW. When you see a bot, hit it.
It was the metal world.
But somehow it's all
used to
coming
it.
together. Between us and the 6th MRB, we took down a horse at Lithium Beach. Pulled out before its buddies arrived, but to see a big one go down. I hope you made the news, honey. Showed everyone we're gonna have a shot at turning this around. We just need to give Project Zero Dawn the time it needs. Then everything will be the way it used to be.
I'm guessing a DEW is a directed energy weapon. Doubtless the troops just called them DEWs. I've seen a bunch of these types of acronyms pop up in various different science fiction novels. Crew, Coherent Radiation Energy Weapon. Apple, Anti-Personnel Laser. That was one of Greg Bear's. Because if there's one thing I can tell you about the military, no matter what piece of equipment you've been issued, somebody somewhere has come up with a TLA for it. What's a TLA, Jingles? 3-letter acronym.
Red light. Guess that means no power. These wires must run to the power source.
In fact, I wouldn't be at all surprised if this machine swarm was not the first military in modern times to ever not
Whatever power
run on
gets there
TLAs
should be close
and
by.
duct tape. We used to say in the Navy, if the Russians had ever come up with a ray gun that dissolved masking tape, NATO would have been fucked. And I'm laughing, but it's true. Anyway, got to restore power to the door. I've got some kind of locking mechanism over there. Can I make that jump? Oof, yeah. The answer to that one would appear to be yes.
Holographic interface. There must be some kind of code. Maybe I should try scanning objects in this area.
Thanks, Aloy. I've never thought of trying that for myself.
Useful information.
Okay, so, what's this? You've got up, down, left, right. Okay.
3 power lines, 3 sources. That makes 1.
That's 1, 2 more. We're going to cut a long story short here and just skip to the end.
Status report. 9th Mechanized Response Brigade, Commanding Officer Lieutenant Fiona Morrell. Unit morale continues to be adversely impacted by outbound engagements against the Pharaoh Plague, especially when said engagements occur in sectors where civilian guard enlistees have been heavily engaged. The scope and nature of fatalities suffered by civilian guard and unarmed civilians in these sectors defy description. And witnessing it is generating a pervasive sense of hopelessness in the unit. Accordingly, I once again request that deployments of the 9th MRB be temporarily refocused on facilities that are mission critical to Project Zero Dawn. And once again, I request an immediate update on the status of Project Zero Dawn's timeline. Ames, I
I know I mail you too much. I'm just proud of what you're doing. Everyone back home is. We got moved inland 10 kilometers, just as a precaution, they say. School's still in session, so I get to keep my eye on Andres and Reggie. We never know where or when you're fighting, but when the VTOLs go over, all the kids run out and wave. I believe in you. I know nothing's ever gonna be the same, but I believe in you. I believe in us.
What is this?
That? It's a map.
A map of what?
Our world. The planet Earth, Aloy. It's not flat like you thought.
Why would I think that? During eclipses, the shadow cast on the moon is curved. So our world is a globe. And it looks like this, from a distance.
We'll discuss this another time. Back to the matter at hand.
The Faro robots were spreading across the world, eating everything up. Somehow, Elizabeth stopped them before it was too late. But how?
Well, that's what we're here to find out. Okay, that's kind of bigger than I was expecting. Can't imagine what it must have been like having to fight one of those things with a handheld directed energy weapon.
The eclipse. Tampering with the metal devil. They don't think they can wake it, do they?
Watch out!
This one can move.
Okay, this one's probably going to be slightly tougher than the last time I ran into one of these things. Let's make sure. I've got plenty of arrows. And I need to target the weak points. Okay, I've got a full stock of special arrows. There it is. Swarm launcher, that's what we're going to go for first. Hopefully, I can take it down from up here. Come on, come on, come on. How many hits does it take to disable this thing? Come on. Yes, got it. Ah, oh, bollocks. Okay, that was never part of the plan. It blew up the platform I was hiding on. Okay. Alright. I surrender. Take me to your leader. It's retracted its hard point. What am I supposed to... Oh, wait, no, 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 no. Oh, shitty death. No, this isn't good at all. Right. Okay, we're going to have to do this the old-fashioned way. Down here with all of the cultists. I actually nearly died there. Thank God for healing herbs. But hitting it in the weak spots there has almost reduced its health down to... Oh shit, no. Now the cultists are getting stuck in as well. Maybe, yes. Okay, it's not actually discriminating too much between myself and the cultists. I mean, any kind of area effect attack it does is hitting them as well. So that's good news. Oh, no, 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 no. Get into cover, get into cover, get into cover. Come on, come on. I think I've taken care of all the cultists. Or between myself and the Deathbringer, we've taken care of all the cultists. It's on extremely low health and it just keeps shooting my concealment away. Right, pick a weak spot and hit it. And we got it.
Soldiers long ago. They had to fight hundreds of those all at once.
True, although to be completely fair, they weren't armed with bows and sharp sticks. Although, then again, they didn't fight just the one at a time the way I did. There would have been hundreds of them, produced by that thing above us. I don't even know what that is. Aloy refers to it as the Metal Devil. Is that one of those Horus-class titans? But yeah, having to fight hundreds of those Deathbringers, and the titan that produced them, that cannot have been fun. Then again, I suppose the motivation for getting out there and fighting them was that if you didn't, they were going to turn you, your friends, family, children, everybody you ever knew, into fuel for more of them. So that's a pretty powerful motivation. As well as all of the voice logs that are scattered around, there are a number of these text logs, and this one's pretty grim reading. Biosphere Degradation, August 2065. Extinction timeline projections remain unchanged, with OAC, whatever that is, predicted for mid-November 2065, annihilation of exposed human populations in February 2066, extinction of macrobiotic land organisms by the end of March 2066, and extinction of marine life in early 2068. Atmospheric oxygen depletion and toxic emissions remain the greatest environmental threat to Operation Enduring Victory, as well as the wider civilian population and animal life. Operational atmospheric collapse, and that's what OAC means, is currently predicted for mid-November 2065, after which military personnel will require rebreathing apparatuses to operate in the open, and civilians will only be able to survive inside sealed structures. Major water treatment facilities are already struggling to process water sources compromised by rainfall, heavily contaminated by toxins emitted by the consumption of the Eastern Hemisphere. The consumption of the Eastern... Wow. Yeah, like I said, pretty grim stuff. But maybe here, in the US Robotics Command War Room, we'll get some answers.
Dr. Sobek, as projected, the Wichita salient has collapsed. 5 Horus-class Titans have broken through. We predict contact in 34 hours.
Everything is in position, General. It took a few shortcuts to pull everything together, but Zero Dawn is functionally complete. Good to go.
That enduring victory served its purpose after all.
Yes, if we'd had even one day less.
I've sent you an encoded file, Doctor. Please do me the favor of archiving it.
I'll see what I can do. What is it?
A brief statement. An allocution of crimes, I guess you'd call it.
To what are you admitting guilt?
Over the past 16 months, Doctor, I have presided over the greatest wholesale slaughter of military personnel and civilians in the history of history. Genghis Khan, Hitler, Stalin, Sorabella, add them all together. They don't even come close.
You didn't do the killing, General.
No, not directly. But I didn't wind up the highest-ranked military commander in the United States by resisting the automation of the armed forces. Even before the swarm, Doctor, I was helping death along. So, instead of letting what I've done sink into the murk, forgotten, I set a file with all the details. Let posterity judge my actions with clear vision.
I'll do as you ask, General. But you should consider that were it not for your actions, our actions, there wouldn't be any posterity to judge us.
Perhaps. Dr. Sobek.
At ease, General. And goodbye.
Hell of a thing. Thank you, Dr. Sobek. You can take a seat.
What? You're going to thank her after what she just said?
Dr. Sobek has made the situation very clear, General, and given us an option. We should all be thanking her.
No, it's just... I mean, my God.
Maybe take this discussion offline.
There's not going to be any discussion. You saw the numbers. Now, Pharaoh, he'll foot the bill, but his money can't buy the time necessary to complete Zero Dawn. That can only be paid for in blood.
Oh, come on. If we upgrade our fleet, crack the code somehow...
Were you not listening? Robots can't do the fighting for you this time. When it comes to hacking, this rogue swarm is an apex predator. Anything automated you throw at it, they will hijack and take over.
But this...
we'd be throwing civilians into a meat grinder.
Commanders, the enemy we're facing self-replicates faster than we can kill it. And it eats biomass as fuel. Zero Dawn is all we've got.
So we put a railgun in the hand of every civilian strong enough to carry one, show them where the trigger is, and point them to the front? How the hell do we sell that?
By giving them something to fight for. Zero Dawn. The top-secret super-weapons program that will save us. So long as humanity holds off the swarm long enough for Dr. Sobek and her team to finish it. The file I'm sending contains the war plan for Operation Enduring Victory.
War plan? This is a war crime.
It may be ugly, but it's something. Consider the alternative. Dr. Sobek, I've secured use of a decommissioned orbital launch base outside Bryce, Utah as the Zero Dawn staging area. Plenty of space there. When can you get started?
I've already mailed you a list of Alpha and Beta candidates. Most are foreign nationals or subjects of corporate holdings, so extracting them...
Leave that to me. You'll get your dream team. Countdown.
Then I'll be off.
Alright, so that sounded like them discussing the plan for Operation Enduring Victory, which was the plan to buy time for Zero Dawn.
Orbital launch base. What is that? What did these people do? What did Elizabeth do?
And at the conclusion of this meeting, Sobek went to an orbital launch facility in Bryce, Utah to build Project Zero Dawn. So, whatever Zero Dawn was, it required orbital launch facilities. But we still don't actually know what Zero Dawn was. Sounds like we're going to have to go to Utah to find out.
Glad to be rid of that place. Now I just need to find the orbital launch base they talked about.
I've checked my data and located the base. That's the good news.
And the bad?
It's directly underneath the Citadel. The palace at Sunfall.
The capital of the Shadow Carja. Not exactly convenient.
The palace is crawling with Eclipse agents. Many in positions of authority, all of them wearing focuses. The moment they see you, Hades will too. He'll issue another kill order, and this time, the entire Shadow Carja military will be after you.
So, disable their focuses. You've done it before.
It's not that simple. Too many focuses in one place, each of them communicating with each other and back to Hades, a whole network of them.
Network? What's that?
Imagine a vast, invisible web stretched across the land from end to end, connecting focuses together, allowing them to communicate over vast distances instantaneously.
All right, so is there some way to cut the web down?
Crash the network. Audacious. Yes, there is a way. A weak point in the network.
Point the way.
I'll send the location data to your focus. Head there, and I'll be in touch when you're close with more directions.
What was Zero Dawn? What sort of super weapon did Elizabeth make? She stopped the machines, but not before the world she knew, her civilization, ended. Let's hope it won't come to that again.
And that is all we have time for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and as always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.